Excited about today's show. Of course, today is Monday, December the 4th, and we're still in year 2023, and you're still in our fall season. And we're excited about today's show. It's sure to be an exciting episode. And so you're joining yours truly, Honorable Valencia Stovall, on Issues and Answers. And you're listening to us on the new WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. You can watch us live on your smart TV, on YouTube, Twitter, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. You can subscribe free to our YouTube channel, and you can download our free WCEG mobile apps. So we're excited. We have 12 podcast distribution platforms that we work on. And I must give you this disclaimer. The topics and opinions of those of the show hosts and guests and not WCEG Network. Thank you for your continued support and make sure you tell a friend. So would you believe, like I said, we are already in December already? I just can't believe it. Do you think we will get any snow on this Christmas? And we're gonna talk about that maybe a little bit. This is, of course, my birthday month. Woo, woo, woo. Yep, happy birthday to me. It hasn't come yet, but we're looking forward to it. And we're glad you're tuning in. In this season of giving and being kind, of showing kindness, we take a moment to remember those who may not be feeling so well, who may be suffering, either who may be suffering from depression. So we continue to keep them in our prayers. We continue to keep my dear friend Chief Emmanuel out of Yemo lifted up in prayers as well. It has been about 5 months since he's been in the hospital. But we know that God is a healer and he will heal in his due time. We're also keeping those families involved in the conflict all over the world, not just in the Middle East, but we're keeping them in our prayers as well. All right, so last episode, we got a chance to hear from Newton County Commissioner Elena Sanders. She shared with us her journey to being an elected official. She is the author of Black Women in a Male-Dominated World and Elected Officials Journey. So we got a lot of insight, had a great conversation. But guess what? Today's show is special to me because my guest is a smart fifth grader. Yes, do you know more than a fifth grader? I don't even know if I know more than a fifth grader. But I've been knowing her ever since she was a baby. I've watched her grow over the years. And it's amazing how children develop their own personalities. And Miss Morgan definitely has her own personality. She actually asked me about my show not too long ago. And then I asked her to be one of my guests for the last month of this year of 2023. So we're excited to have her. And, sometimes you never know who's watching you when you're doing different things. So you have to always make sure that we're doing the right thing. So for security purpose, because she is underage, we will be referred to as Little Miss Morgan S. So when you all hear me talking, so welcome little Miss Morgan S to Issues and Answers with yours truly. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your show this afternoon.
Thank you. I love that smile. Oh my goodness, that smile. If
Thank
anybody's feeling bad, they can watch your smile and they'll get all happy again. So tell me, how was your day at school?
my day at school was awesome today. I really enjoyed going to school this morning.
Good, good. I'm
And
glad. Go ahead.
my favorite part about my day today would probably be how the lunch was good today, and my lunch was good because I packed my own lunch from home, and I got to talk to my friends and engage after a long day of learning, and I really, really liked lunchtime.
Oh, okay. So, what did you have that you brought for your lunch? So, what did you pack in that lunch?
Well, thank you to mommy. Mommy packed my lunch, and I had a PB&J. Oh, let's see. I had PB&J's, some chips, and pineapples, and then a water. And for a little snack, cause for later, I had a honey bun and a nutritional blueberry bar.
What a combination. Okay. Now I like those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We used to eat those all the time. And even as adults, I still eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So yeah, I'm not even gonna go into that song we used to sing when we were little. So we're not gonna go into that. So what's your favorite subject in school and what do you like best about I know you talked about your lunch was good, but what do you like best overall during your school day? So what's your favorite subject and then what do you like best about your school day?
My favorite subject would be, let's see, science and social studies because I really like learning about the past and of course Black history. And in science, I really like learning about um air molecules and atoms and mixtures. And you said my favorite part of the day overall.
Yes.
My favorite part of the day overall would probably be homeroom because I get to be in my normal seat and at my desk where I have all my books with me and I have everything I need for class. And I also like sitting where I sit because I can focus really well in my class.
Oh, okay. So now you mentioned something about some molecules. I'm trying to figure out, did we even study that in fifth grade with molecules? That's nice, especially with science and social studies being your favorite subjects. Most of the time you hear math, maybe some kids say math. So that's great, especially what you're learning at your school. So what do you know about who makes the rules at school?
Well, I know that Dr. Anthony Smith is the one who makes the rules. And I know that he's very good at what he does, and he's our superintendent. And he
Okay,
makes good rules to keep us safe from harm and from getting in trouble.
okay. That's good. So, I always like to ask this question because with me being a former lawmaker who made policies and rules, I want to find out. But your mom told me something interesting that I was very excited to hear that you are participating in your school council, and you serve on there so that you're a voice for your classmates. So tell me a little bit about this appointment that you have on this council.
Oh, so student ambassador. Okay.
Okay.
Um, Student ambassadors already make changes in the school to help other kids. I wouldn't say adjust, but to help other kids like the school just a bit more. And we get recommendations from everybody in the school. Like we like they everybody wanted to add another special, so we added PE to the school, and now we have PE. Everybody wanted the lunches to be a bit hotter, so we met with the lunch lady and we told her the request. And now we're actually working on our counselor. She's out. She broke some spots in her ankle. So
Mhm.
we're planning on doing something special for her when she gets back. And we're working on putting some art pieces in the MD Roberts art show.
Okay. Now, how many people are on the student ambassadors? Part of the student ambassadors.
Uh I'd say over 15.
Oh wow! So about 15. So now, you said that you are on PE as a special.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then it was you and some other kids, or other students, or your classmates that said that you all wanted PE as a special, and so you all went to talk to the principal, and
Well,
then
we
you
had
told the
our next
principal.
meeting, and we
Okay,
normally meet on Tuesdays. Sometimes they'll pull us on Mondays, but we met and we talked about some of the recommendations we got from the school, and he was like, "I'll see what I can do about PE," and then uh we had PE.
Okay. So how did y'all get receive the recommendations? Where did you get those from? Did y'all survey the other students in the
Survey.
school?
Yeah, we
Okay.
surveyed. A couple of students would already just say it out loud because my whole class knows that I'm a student ambassador. So they would be like, Morgan, can you recommend like the lunches being hotter or more sides or stuff like that?
Okay. Now, when you said harder, what do you mean by lunch being harder?
No, hotter.
Oh, hotter. Okay, hotter. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that would make a difference in how it tastes, making sure it's hotter. So you all were able to get the PE added to your specials, and
Hmm.
then you were able to get a hotter lunch that's served, and it was something else that you mentioned.
The one that we're working on now?
Yes, about the doing something with the school counselor, right?
Yeah, Miss Cannon, yeah, she broke some places in her ankle. So we're trying to put together like we already made cards for her back in around I think a couple of weeks back. We already made cards and we were planning on like getting her not making her food, but like getting her a type of food that she likes. And we already kind of just we were thinking about just doing chicken Alfredo.
Oh, that is so nice. It's very kind of you
And
all.
then
So
having a small
that's
celebration that
a
she got.
small celebration. Okay. So it's exciting for me to hear your participation on the student ambassadors and that you all were actually able to make a difference. And that means a lot because like right now we're in election season, and a lot of times people don't believe that their voice or when they bring up an issue that there's a solution to it. So to know at an early age as a fifth grader that you're on the student ambassadors council and you all were able to get PE added and a hotter lunch, and then you all are talking about some nice things you want to do for the school counselor. That's just great. And what we say, awesome. So I want to definitely commend you. If I had the little hand clap noise, clap, 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 then I would do that for you. So
Thank
good
you.
job. You keep up the good work and keep listening to your classmates. Who knows? One day we might be saying Morgan is running for president of the United States of America, and then
I
you can
hope
always,
so.
yes, ma'am. You can always say, "Hey, I started as a student ambassador in my elementary school, and then I also was featured on Honorable Valencia Stovall's Issues and Answers show. So, hey, I know I'm ready. That's right. So, where was the best place that you visited on a trip? So, I know you like to travel. And so, what would you say was the best place that you traveled to on the trip?
Man, this is a hard one because we go on a lot of good field trips. But if I had to choose, I would say this one was recent. It was a couple of, I think it was 2 weeks ago, but it was really fun. We went to the Georgia Aquarium.
Oh, I like the aquarium too. I didn't think as an adult that I was gonna like the aquarium. But then when I started walking around and then I went to the dolphin show. Did y'all go to the dolphin
Yeah, that
show?
was so fun, and we got splashed, and
I
everybody
got
was
wet too.
screaming. It was so fun.
Yes, and then walking around and seeing all the other different animals, land animals, and of course the marine animals. Now, did you all go to the show, to the little 3D and 3D animation show?
We were going to, but we didn't have time. But when I went before, when I went with my mom and my auntie, it was really fun though.
Yeah, I enjoyed that too. I think that may have been, besides the dolphin show, that may have been the other part I liked the most because it was I forgot what the show was, but the chairs were shaking, and then I
Yeah,
think I
and the
felt some
little
air.
waterfall.
Yeah,
The
some
little
water in my hair or something. I was just all excited with that animation in that show. So that's great. Now, tell me about like a trip that you took on a vacation. What's your best vacation trip that you've taken?
like out of school.
Yeah, out of school. Your
My best
family trip.
vacation trip. This is a no-brainer. Going on my first ever Carnival cruise. I loved it so much.
Oh, you went on a cruise at your age? Girl, you better
I
get
know,
out of here.
cause I made the food was amazing. The pools, they were not too hot, they weren't too cold, they were amazing. I made a lot of new friends. Um, there was like this little duck scavenger hunt, and there was
Mhm.
planted ducks all over. And I found one. It was really cute, and I loved when we went to the Bahamas. That's where we were going on the
Oh,
cruise. The
y'all
Bahamas
went to the
water was
Bahamas.
mm,
Oh, honey. Mm.
and it was so amazing. And the cabin beds were so fluffy and they were warm and amazing. And me and my aunt Gina, when mommy and Ashley went to go do the towel folding thing, we stayed back and we watched Avatar on the TV.
Really? Oh, now what about all that food that you just eat all
Ooh,
day long?
oh my gosh. My favorite was the ice cream and the guys burgers. Those were, those were amazing.
Oh, but I know when you got back home, you had to adjust because when you're on the cruise, they do everything for you. Now, let me ask you this one little thing. So when I went on the cruise, I had to be careful if I got left from my seat and came back because by the time you get up, the people, the waitress and waitresses would have already cleaned off your table. So did you experience that where they were moving the stuff off your table real fast?
Oh, when you went to the dinner at night?
Yeah, either during the daytime when you went to just eat like your food, like your guy burger and all of that other stuff. But sometimes they move real fast.
I know. Not really, no. Actually, that did not happen to us because
Okay.
none of us really got up, and because they were small, so we all finished in time, and so that didn't happen to us.
Okay. So did you get a chance to dress up to go to the dinner?
Yes, I brought a couple of my favorite dresses to wear, and I
Ooh.
think it was a 5-day cruise. It started on Monday and it ended on Saturday.
Ooh, y'all had a full cruise. Oh wow. So did you all leave off the boat to go on what they call the excursions or go on land to go
Yeah, and
shopping?
we found out that we went 2 places actually. What was the second place? I forgot what the second place was. Um, but when we went, it wasn't really what we expected, but it was
Mm-hmm.
nice. The air, it smelled good, and we thought there was a beach, but there
Mm-hmm.
really wasn't a beach, and they were charging car rides. But I actually got a little stuffed animal and Ashley. We got little stuffed animals and bracelets, and they were really cute. And I really enjoyed it. And there were little piggies where you could go swim with the piggies, but we didn't do that.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like you really had a nice time. Are you looking forward for another cruise?
Oh, we already have one on the cruise book for
Oh,
next
my,
for
look
next
at,
summer and Christmas next year.
oh, you're going 2 times. Don't you know the average, most of the time, the average adult has not even been on one cruise. And now you'll be going on your second and third cruise at under 18. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So now I heard they call it through the grapevine that you have some special talents besides being having such a great personality, a wonderful smile, and being smart. That you also have some other special talents. So tell me a little bit about those talents.
Oh, okay. Well, for starters, I do tap
Oh
class.
wow. Okay.
I was supposed to go today, but it got canceled, and I got picked up early for the show. She
Okay.
canceled it today, but I know some combinations. I know about 2 or 3 combinations that we learned. And let me see, there's so many. And I
Now,
play
okay.
multiple instruments. I know how to play the ukulele, guitar, and glockenspiel.
You said the guitar. Now, what was the last one?
Glockenspiel.
What? Well, I don't think I ever heard of that. Maybe I've seen it. Probably just didn't know what it.
It's
How do you?
it's like a high sounding instrument and it's kind of small, but it looks like a xylophone. It's basically a
Okay.
xylophone, but it
Okay, I
has
know what that
smaller
is.
keys and it's higher.
Oh wow! Now, how long have you been playing those instruments?
Each about 1 year.
Okay.
Cause they actually the school teaches us how to play them.
Oh, that's
Like the
good.
glockenspiel was for my showcase.
Hmm.
I learned how to play the I don't want to say flute, but I think it was the flute in 3rd grade. And last year we learned how to play guitars.
Oh, multi-talent. Now, tell me a little bit about this tap dancing. So now, do the little taps come off the shoes? Do y'all have to put it on there every time you put on the shoes?
No, you can buy them already with the little metal parts pre-made on there, and that's what mine's are like.
Okay. Now, how long you been tap dancing?
I just started this year.
Oh, so what made you want to do tap dancing?
Oh, and I think I'm gonna start acting. But I was looking at the club sign up sheet and I was looking at tap and I was like, man, some that looks so fun. And I was like, and I do kind of want to start trying to do a form of exercise and dance. So I was
Hmm.
like, maybe I'll start tap, and then I started it, and I really am enjoying it so far.
Wow. So you really educated me. And the topic was, do you know more than a fifth grader? And I have to say I don't. And some of this stuff, especially that last instrument, I can't even remember the glocka. What you said was name of it?
Glockenspiel.
Glockenspiel. Oh my goodness. I learned a new word. And then I learned about your participating with your student ambassador. Oh, I've been learning a lot. So now let me ask you this question. Now, what advice would you give to parents of fifth graders? So, what should these parents know when they're about their fifth graders and how to be better parents to them? What's your
First,
advice?
um, we have harder work than last year, so I don't want to say try to adjust to it, but it's gonna be different. So if your child asks for help, it's gonna look different than last year. And another piece of advice that I could give is, let me see. Maybe try to help your child more with your homework and the morning work and everything like that. And check over their work especially, because I know a lot of kids um in my class don't get their work checked over.
Oh, okay.
And always try to be there for your child when they need it. And that's it.
Okay. Now you all have heard it from Lil Miss Morgan S, the fifth grader. She's giving you all some advice on parenting with
Mm.
dealing with fifth grade. She said that the work is harder than it was last year in the fourth grade. So you all have to give a little grace and also check over your students, your children's homework and their morning work to make sure it's right. Because she said
Mhm.
some of the students in her class, their parents don't get a chance to do that. And then she said also to listen to your child. So that's some great advice, Morgan, that you're giving to parents, because sometimes they get real busy and they don't get a chance to do all of that. So, being able to hear it from an actual fifth grader I think that should go a long ways. I don't have a fifth grade, of course, but if I did, that's some great advice, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
So I have this one little fun question I'm gonna ask you, and as we get ready to close out our interview, is would you rather bake a pizza or bake a cake?
Uh, let's see. I really enjoy baking mini pizzas, but I would go with cake because I always bake cakes with my aunt Gina, and we always bake stuff together. And I feel like a cake would be more funner, the ingredients, different flavors.
Okay. Now, what flavor of cake would you bake?
Chocolate, definitely.
I like chocolate too. Now,
I
would
love
that be with a
chocolate.
chocolate icing?
Chocolate
Oh,
buttercream,
chocolate
definitely.
buttercream. Now, you all heard her. She made it specific. She said chocolate buttercream. She didn't just say a regular chocolate. She said chocolate buttercream. All right. So, is there anything else that you would like for my audience to know, or any other piece of advice that you would like to give to the audience?
Uh, can I shout out somebody real quick?
Sure. Long. Don't say the last name. You can say the first name, but not the
Yeah, I'm
last
not
name.
gonna say her last name.
Okay.
I
Go
just
ahead.
want to say, um, I'm already gonna send this to her. But hi, Leah. I love you so much, and thank you for supporting me. And I told her about your show. Her name is Leah, and she's my best friend. And I'm really proud of how much she's grown over the years, especially adjusting to her new school. And I want to say thank you to you for letting me be on your show, and mommy because she's helped me with these questions and helped me practice and get ready. And I really appreciate mommy for that. And Leah, and thank you to my family. That's it.
Great. Yeah, and we appreciate mommy for getting you prepared and getting you leaving for picking you up early and making sure you were all ready and just prepared for the show. That means a lot. I really appreciate her, and I appreciate her allowing you to be on the show. And I appreciate you wanting to be on the show and also being prepared and even giving your shout out to your friends. So how long has Aaliyah been your best friend?
Mommy gets her name mixed up too. It's okay though. It's Leah, just
Oh,
Leah.
it's Leah, not Aaliyah. Okay, Leah. Thank you
I
for the
know
correction.
Leah. It started about the middle of last year. I'm not gonna tell the full story because I don't know if
Right.
she's comfortable with it. But there was a dance. Basically, her little friend group. Her mom paid for that dance just so she could hang out with her friends. And they ditched her and they stopped hanging out with her. And they started rumors about her. And that's when I noticed she was sad, more sad. And I started hanging out with her. And we just became best friends ever since.
That is so nice. And I had some other students, they were high school students who were on my show a couple of months ago, and they talked about bullying and
Yeah,
and a lot of times people don't understand, bullying might not necessarily be someone putting their hands on you, but a lot of times verbally and
it can be
words and things.
repeatedly. It could be cyberbullying. It could be, like you said, verbally, not just hitting you. And when it's bullying, it's repeatedly over and over and over again.
And that's good that you decided that you saw a situation that your friend Leah was uncomfortable, with, and that you stepped in to be a good friend to her, so that she don't feel left out, especially with her coming to a new school. So I have to definitely commend you and thank you for that, because that took a lot, knowing that the other girls who were dissing her may now diss you because they said you try to be friends with Leah. So and so it takes a lot to be able to stand up and to protect other people and to be concerned about their feelings. That tells that you're a very special person, very kind
Yeah.
hearted.
I don't like bullying at all. So when I see somebody getting bullied, I'm gonna grab a teacher and step in to help because bullying is not okay and it needs to stop.
Yes. Well, you heard it straight from Little Miss Morgan S that bullying needs to stop and that she's bold enough to be able to step in and she knows the chain of command by letting an adult know, that that's going on. So that's great, Morgan. Well, thank you so very much, Morgan, for being my very special guest on the last show of this year of 2024. We round, and I like that red color. You getting ready for our holiday season and everything like that. So we're excited, and we thank you for joining us. And you are welcome to stay on if you want to. If not, I understand because you might have some of that homework to do. Before
I do
y'all,
all my homework.
you already finished your homework. Oh, then that's what I'm talking about. That's a smart student there. See, I would have just been procrastinating on my homework, but I'm glad that you're not like that, Morgan. So, Morgan, I'm going to move into the next segment of my show. But thank you so very much again. And we'll have to definitely have you back on again.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe next year.
Yes, maybe next year. And by that time, hopefully, I would find out some more things that you have done with that student ambassador and how much more you have done as tap dancing and playing those instruments so you could be able to share some more stuff with me
Hmm.
at that time. So thank you so very much.
Thank you for letting me be on your show. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas.
Yes, thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye bye.
you.
So everybody, what time is it? And you know what? I just really appreciate little Miss Morgan. You all, she was just so special, so sweet, very articulate. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought she was older than being a fifth grader. So that tells you there that her parents doing a great job, good family support system for her, and I appreciate her mom for allowing her to be on the show. So what time is it? It's time for the Say What. Y'all know that segment that I do. Every day there are situations happening all around us that make us want to say, what in the what? Yes, what in the what is going on? So, of course, with me being a former legislator, I still have to pay attention to what's going on down at the state capitol. Yes. So the Georgia General Assembly is in special legislative session now because for one reason, and that is to redraw the election maps that will make Black voters have a better chance of choosing the candidates of their choice. So every 10 years, as you all know, we have the census that's required by federal law to do a population count of the people that are located in the United States. And because we are a republic, which means we believe in a government by the people, for the people, elected by the people. And because of that, our representation is very, very important here, especially in the state of Georgia. It's everywhere, but I'm going to speak specifically for Georgia. And so every 10 years, there is a redrawing, a redistricting of maps, a reapportionment. You might hear those words between redistricting and reapportionment. That means the same thing. That has to happen. And it has to happen through the legislative body. And these are individuals that you all elect. Now, the reason this is very important about these maps and the redrawing or the redistricting or the reapportionment is because this allows you as voters to have fair representation for your values and those things you like to see accomplished in your communities. So in 2021, the maps were redrawn again because the 2020 census said that there was an increase in population. So wherever there's an increase in population, then there must be an increase in making sure that everyone has fair representation across the state of Georgia. So you can't have one district, whether it's a House of Representative district or a Senate district, that has more population than the other. They try to balance it out as much as possible so that each person, is representing the same amount of constituents. And so in 2021, because we have a majority Republican majority in the House and the Senate, they decided on how those maps were going to be drawn. Now, there was the Voting Rights Act that at one point in time used, because of Georgia being one of the slavery states and because of dealing with civil rights and the disadvantages that blacks have had with voting power, then there was a clause in the Voting Rights Act that said that anytime that the redistricting happened or after the census and the redrawing of the maps, that there had to be the United States Justice Department had to give a clearance, which means the maps that were created had to then be sent to the U.S. Justice Department for them to look at those maps and say, yes, the blacks are not disproportionate when it comes down to voting. They have, the best outcome to be able to choose the candidate of their choice. And that does not mean it had to be a Republican drawing or a Democratic drawing. It was the representation of the blacks that lives here in Georgia as one of the southern states. Now, some years then there was this ruling that came out that part that I just talked about, the clearance, was struck out of the of this ruling of the requirement. So when the maps were drawn in 2021, there was no pre-clearance that had to be given. So the maps were just drawn by the Republicans, who are the majority in the House and the Senate. Now, there was a group, I think the Alpha fraternity and some other groups got together and filed a class action lawsuit against the state of Georgia, saying that the blacks that were their voting power in the state of Georgia was not accurate. It was not portraying the right black representation across the state. And because there were a large number of blacks that have moved in the state, then their voting power has been diluted. So because they did file this claim, so it went before the Judge Jones, and it was like a 500, I think, something page ruling that he gave. And part of the ruling, and I'm not going to go into specifics of it, but part of the ruling was that Georgia legislative body had to reconvene to redraw these maps so that the black population voting is not diluted. And they had to create a number of districts that were majority black districts in the Senate and in the House. And he named his ruling specific districts that were of interest that had to be done. So Republicans got together and they came up with their version of the map. From my understanding, they called in all the legislators, whether you were Republican or Democrat, to talk about the drawing of the map. So they came up with their version of the map and they presented it last week. And then they had a hearing, which was a reapportionment hearing. And all this, I'm telling you, can be found if you go to legis.ga.gov. On that front page, you will see where you could go back and look at the different hearings that took place during all last week, and you can just sit there and listen to all the recordings. You're going to hear what's called the session, floor session. That's when they were actually in session, the legislators in the House and the Senate. So you look for the House, look for the Senate. And then they also have a portion where you can actually look at the maps that's on there as well. You may have to do some finagling through the website, but you can be able to get to it. But to be able to listen to the recordings that happen on the House and the Senate in those particular committee meetings as well. And I just posted the website to legis.ga.gov for you to be able to go now in the comment section on my Facebook page. So moving forward, fast forward, is that then the Democrats also had their portion of the map in the Senate and the House. So in the Senate, they wanted to present their maps, which were, of course, different from the drawing of the Republican map. So you all could go and listen to that debate that went on back and forward. Now, on the House side, they had their portion of the map, but for whatever reason, they weren't able to make it a substitute to the existing map. So you could go and look at all of that part of what actually happened. It's very educational, and actually, I hope that our social studies classes, especially those that are 8th grade, that have to study Georgia history. Every 8th grader has to study Georgia history. That hopefully they've been actually letting their students watch these proceedings and even write about it and give an opinion about them, because these are going to decide for them the maps for the next 10 years. So just think about it. If you have we had Lil Miss Morgan on. Morgan may be I think maybe 10 or 11. Just think in 10 years, these maps, she's going to be 21. And at 18, she's able to register to vote. So these maps are going to be the maps of their representation. That's going to be actually the people that'll be representing her and her friends and everyone. So we might, she's in elementary now. By the time the next census comes, guess what? She's going to be old enough to vote. So that's why it's important for us as families and even our community to be paying very close attention to what the process is. And it's very educational to be able to hear the history of Georgia when it came down to Voting Rights Act and voting here in the southern state. And now look at, the amount of representation that we have in the House and the Senate of people that look like Black people. Well, it doesn't matter whether Democrat or Republican, you're being able to vote your choice. That's the most important part. If you don't remember nothing else about the ruling from the judge. So now, yeah, both sides, the House, the Senate passed their portion of the Republican map. The House has passed theirs. So now, as you all know, when I talk to you, now it goes to the opposite chamber. So the Senate bill now goes to the House, and it goes to their House committee, reapportionment committee, and then it goes to Rules Committee, and then it comes to the House chamber floor to vote on. Same thing is going to happen. The House bill passed out of the House last week. Now it goes to the reapportionment committee to be passed out of there. Then it goes to the Rules Committee on the Senate side, and then it comes to the Senate floor for voting and debating. So, so it's going, it's a very good process, I would say, and then have been down there watching how the debate goes, and everyone's making their point. Everybody have good valid points. And so it's up to you to be able to listen and gather what you might think is just somebody doing what they call sound bites, or really it's a factual information. So everybody's on pins and needles in the state of Georgia, because guess what? The election for state house, state representative, and congressional maps, they also have to draw one congressional majority Black map, Black voter map as well in Georgia. So everybody's on pins and needles, because by this time, those incumbents and those who might be one challengers for the election would have already started, okay, I need to go out and start campaigning. Well, one thing now, because the legislative body is in special session, they cannot campaign and they cannot raise any money. They cannot accept any donations during this time that they're in legislative session. Now, when they get out and right before they reconvene for special session, then during that period they can campaign or whatever. But the thing is, where are you going to campaign at? Because you don't know what your district is, and you don't know if you're going to have a whole new group of voters that you're going to have to now let them know who you are as an incumbent or even as a challenger. Or is your district going to remain almost the same? And it's not all the House and Senate districts that are changing. Only the ones, if you look at it kind of in the South Metro area, and I think Macon was one, and I can't think of the other area, but mostly in the metro area, you will hear a lot of debate that's going on in there. So who knows, where their district lines are going to end up at. And remember, no elected official can represent more than one district. So every district number, like the 180 House members, there are 180 districts. They don't cross over. In the Senate, there are 56 senators. There are 56 districts. They do not cross over. Now, the maps may be drawn where incumbents have to end up running against each other, which was a situation in some of the maps that were presented. And so, but once these maps are given or submitted to the judge, and I think the deadline was December the 8th, once they're submitted, then the judge will make the ruling on whether he's going to accept those maps that were presented from the Senate and the House side and the congressional district, or whether a master will come in, and that master means just a person that don't have any preference to Republican or Democrat. They're just going to look at the maps and draw them proportionate like they're supposed to be. Or there were some maps that I believe were presented during the court proceeding. The judge could decide there. Now, one other caveat is that once the judge gave his ruling about what the legislative body had to do, the Republicans also filed an appeal to his ruling. So that's still out there. That appeal has not been heard. And then if the judge comes back and say, no, this is how the maps need to be, the Republicans, the ones you submitted, are not correct, then guess what? Another appeal can be done to appeal the decision of Judge Jones. So, that's the beauty and sometimes the not so good part of our democratic process is that if you don't like one ruling, you can appeal. Now, by the time it gets up to the Supreme Court, but then the thing is timing. Remember, qualifying and then the presidential primary is in March. Qualifying for 2024 is in March. So there's not a whole lot of time. And remember, the Secretary of State's office has to get this information, change out whoever needs to be in the new district. They're going to have a new polling location. So then not just Secretary of State, but all the local election divisions across the state are going to have the updated information. So it's a lot that's tied up in it, you all, that you might not even have thought about how what magnitude this is. These decisions are that have to be made. So I just wanted to, that's a say what by itself. And that, I usually don't take as much time on my say what's, but I thought it was important for me to explain to you all, just in layman's term, as far as what's going on and why the legislative body, are in session now. So I just wanted to make sure I told you that. So go to that website, legis.ga.gov, and go on there and just listen. Get your own information so you can hear it from yourself, not from what you hear on the news, because they only gonna give you sound bites and tidbits and bits. But you can go and actually watch the whole proceeding, whether it's 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. You can listen to it. All right. So my next say what, as we get ready to wind down the time, is according to the Human Times magazine news article. Indeed, survey suggests that 1/3 of the people in the United Kingdom wear pajamas while working from home. I'm going to say that again. Indeed, everybody knows about Indeed. They had a survey, and it suggests that 1/3 of the people in the United Kingdom wear pajamas while working from home. The survey also, which included over 1,000 workers and 500 bosses, also found that around 1 in 12 workers wear their pajamas every day while working, when they're working, of course, from home. Now you say what? Then you all know during the pandemic, it was so much online, virtual going on. I don't think that meant, I know I didn't dress up from the head down to the toe. I put on a dress shirt, and hey, you never know what I might have had on the bottom. So they're saying that those who are still working from home are not being fully dressed out in their business attire. That 1 in 12 workers wear their pajamas every day while they're working from home. And so I just thought that was real funny. And that's a say what for some time, like I said, on those online meetings. And you all don't have to admit, I know you all have done it too. Everybody don't dress all the way down. But if you better not stand up though, while you're in that meeting, you better turn that camera off before you stand up. So they'll still believe that you're in your professional attire. So that was my last say what. So I have a few announcements I like to make. Every show, of course, we would encourage your support of Georgia House Bill 89 to create a reparations commission to recommend appropriate policy remedies for descendants of chattel slavery in Georgia. We want you to get involved. Visit reparationsunday.info. And of course, I always give thanks to Tamara Johnson Shealy for leading these efforts. And especially when you think about this whole big conversation about Black votes being diluted in Georgia, the southern state, one of the states, of course, that had that still have descendants of chattel slavery. So, you know, when you hear some of those debates that's been happening, and everybody's version of why the map should be like whatever it is that they believe it should be, listen to it and you'll see why there's still a need for this reparations commission, because there's still hurt that's being done, you know, because if it wasn't, why would we be talking about a fairness of a map that's created for Black voters in Georgia? And that's not to dilute any of our other people of color, what they call POCs, while Asian, Hispanic, Indian, you know, and everybody else that's not considered Black. But because we're the ones that most affected because of slavery, because of dealing with civil rights, then that's why that ruling had to come down to make sure that we as Blacks are able to have our choice and be able to choose what candidate we want, irregardless of whether it's Democrat or whether it's Republican or whether it's independent. We need to be able to choose who we want to be able to represent us or who we think will be best. Okay, so check your status for the Medicaid coverage. Many people were dropped from Medicaid roll. So go to statecovered.ga.gov, or you could go to gateway.ga.gov, which is the website that whenever you're applying for SNAP, your cap subsidy for your child is in early care. That's the same website you go to for Medicaid as well. The reparations link is reparationsunday.info, and it's reparationsunday.info. So reparationsunday.info to find out more information about Georgia House Bill 89. And of course, they'll be taking it up when session starts back in January. All right, damn. Do you know a single parent? I know you know a single parent because I know some single parent. I was a single parent, but I'm not a single parent now. My children are grown. But do you know a single parent who has a child 18 or under, male or female, who live in the state of Georgia and are doing outstanding work, a job, raising his or her children or their children? If you know them, why not nominate them? Okay, the deadline is coming up this Saturday, y'all. This Saturday. So we need you to go to nationallg.org. I'm going to put the website in the chat. nationallg.org to make sure you make your nomination for your single parent who lives in Georgia, and they're doing an outstanding job with raising his or her, and I think I put it in wrong. I'm going to have to redo it again. Raising his or her child, but it's nationallg.org. Single Parent Day will be recognized March the 21st of every year. Every year. So we also have a membership that we are doing with the Georgia Single Parent Coalition. And now tomorrow, some of you all are living in municipalities or cities that have runoff elections. December the 5th, that's Tuesday, tomorrow. So make sure you go out to cast your ballots for the candidate of your choice. And we're wishing Norman Carter Jr., he's a candidate for Snellville City Council. We're wishing him a victory. He is one of the hosts of Issues and Answers, or one of the co-hosts. He comes on other days that I don't come on. And we know that he will make a great councilman. He already has the heart for service now. And so he's going to do a great job. He has a great vision for Snellville. So if any of you all live in Snellville, or you know someone that lives in the city of Snellville, tell them to check out Norman Carter. And so that election will take place, a runoff election. Check your voting status by going to mvp.sos.ga.gov to check your voter status to make sure that you know what precinct you're supposed to go to. You don't go to the early voting precinct. You go to your actual precinct that you're supposed to vote at. Okay. Now, also, In February, I'm just telling y'all early, Saturday, February the 17th, will be our 6th annual I Am Powerful Teen Summit. So I've been collaborating with Dr. Dietrich Poindexter with Change for Hope for the last, I think, 5 years, now 4 years. So, and we've been hosting this Teen Summit for 12-year-olds up to the age of 21. And this year's theme, she comes up with a theme every year, is I Am My Brothers and Sisters Keepers. And we're going to be back at Golden Glass Skating Ring, getting the skate on. The cost is $10 for entry. But guess what? Because it's I Am My Brothers and Sisters Keeper, lean on me. We're looking for sororities, fraternities, orders of Easter Stars, Masons, any group as far as boys or girls mentoring group to be a part of this event. We want you all to show and talk with our young people as to why did you decide to join these organizations for promoting brotherhood and sisterhood. Our young people need to know that they cannot do things on their own, that you always gonna have to need somebody to help you and to lean on. And so that's our theme this year. So if you're interested, definitely reach out to me at contact@ghoststovall.com. And we would love, love, love to have your fraternity sorority. We're even going to do a step show before the skating gets done. So we do our portion of the event, and then afterwards the children get to skate until they drop or until the place closed for the regular close of the business. But we're excited. So if you are a fraternity, sorority, a member of one, and you want to be able to come out for community service, to be able to help participate in this teen summit that's going to be next year in February, or if you order Easter Star, Mason, or any girls or boys mentorship program organization, definitely reach out to me because we want you to be in the place to help us to be able to promote Lean on Me. Yes, and time has caught us, unfortunately. I know all good things must come to an end. This is our season. This is actually the last show until next year, but I won't be back, y'all, until February because I got some stuff going on in January. You know, we talked about the ML King Jr. Advisory Council. They'll be having the annual event will be held at the state capitol in January. So the Friday before Dr. King's holiday, we will be at the state capitol recognizing and those individuals who were nominated for the award, the annual award. So you all won't see me next month. I know you're going to cry and feel all sad, but don't feel sad because I will be back in February with new topics and exciting guests. So the goals of issues and answers with yours truly, Honorable Valencia Stovall, is to educate you on those things you might not think about unless you are in a situation to be concerned. And my email again is contact@ghoststovall.com. Contact@ghoststovall.com. So reach out to me about the Teen Summit, about the single parent. And also, if you have some show ideas that you might say, hey, did you think about this? I don't know everything. So I'm open to all kind of suggestions. So I'm wishing you and your family a safe holiday and happy New Year 2024. All right. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. And thank you again, Morgan, for being my special guest.